Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. We're back with a new update video on the channel. Hope you guys are keeping well. Not in the natural office habitat today. We're out and about, so I thought I'd do a quick update video for you guys because there has been some big news today. Probably news that Wolves fans were sort of itching to see over the weekend. It was pretty quiet over the weekend, to be fair, in terms of sort of big, juicy news. But finally today, there's been a couple of real positive pieces of news for Wolves fans as well. So we'll jump into those. As always, be sure to smash the like button. Let's try and get 350 likes on today's video and subscribe to the channel as we continue to push towards 20,000 subscribers. But the big piece of news today is that Jhon Arias from Fluminense is very close now to joining Wolverhampton Wanderers. We saw John Percy exclusively report it earlier on today. He said it was going to be for a fee in the region of around £15 million. Other sources have suggested around 20 million euros. So sort of in between that, around the 17 to 17.5 million pound mark. But still, I think a very good piece of business and a very good price for one of the best players consistently in Brazil for the last couple of years or so. If you have a look at, I've seen a few Brazilian or South American reporters say that this is an unbelievable deal for Wolves, and they cannot believe that this is just pocket change for a player of Jhon Arias' quality. So quite exciting. If I had to guess, I would probably say that this is who Cunha's replacement is going to be. I think he will probably be one of the starters as long as the move goes to plan and he gets plenty of time and stays fit over pre-season. I think he will be one of the starters from the beginning of the season, to be honest. But quite excited. I think a lot of Wolves fans were desperate just to see some incoming news. That obviously we signed Thayer Lopez, but this is a big void that needed to be filled. And, you know, I think with his quality on the ball, he can strike a ball from long range, which we saw Cunha able to do a number of times last season. Quite an exciting signing. So no real news as of yet on exactly when he'll be joining up with the team. Obviously, we're in Portugal probably until the start of next week. So it may well not be till next week until things get finalised and confirmed, in my opinion. But still exciting and promising and positive that Wolves now are getting close to potentially getting this deal done and over the line. We saw some news over, early part of the weekend. It was actually late on Friday that Juventus reportedly interested in Andre, the Wolves midfielder. Of course, panic stations then because Juventus are still a massive club, very reputable, looking to potentially move Douglas Luiz on this summer. And Andre is a player that they're looking at potentially replacing him. There were some fees banded around by Italian journalists. The original story, by the way, came from Gianluca Di Marzio, who historically has been quite a big journalist and a big reporter. But some of the fees banded around by other Italian journalists were about 30 to 35 million euros, which I almost had to laugh off myself because I just don't think Wolves would be stupid enough to sell for that sort of fee, especially when we've already had two big sales so far this summer. But thankfully today we saw reports and rumours originally from Sky Sports News that Wolves class Andre as untouchable and he's not for sale under any circumstance this summer. So touch wood, Andre will still be a Wolves player come the start of the campaign. I very certainly will. And in my opinion, no disrespect to Juventus, I just don't think they would be putting the money that Andre's worth on the table. So for me, I just, in my opinion, I felt it was a little bit of a non-starter anyway. And another potential incoming that's gained a bit of traction over the last 24 hours or so is the young boys left back, Jhon Hwang, from Algeria, Algerian international left back, obviously behind Ryan Aït-Nouri in the pecking order at the moment, but he could be Ryan's replacement at Wolves this summer. The player is said to really want a move to the Premier League. He finds Wolves as obviously an attractive club to be at and move to. There is obviously reports yesterday that were suggesting the Wolves' interest. That was backed up again. There are other teams interested in him. But it's thought that Wolves, probably in terms of an overall package, are going to be in the best place to afford this deal, to be honest. Young boys only want around 7 million euros. But again, I think this is the perfect type of player to probably compete with Hugo Bueno. He's got experience. He's played a lot of games already, to be fair, just at the age of 22. But him and Hugo Bueno competing, I think offensively he's a good player. Algerian football fans seem to rate him fairly highly as well. Obviously, not quite as highly, as Ryan, but still got the quality to compete and hopefully be a member of the Wolves first team squad. So we'll keep an eye on that one. But left wing back links seem to be speeding up a little bit as well. I'll quickly talk about Richard Rios. From Palmeiras, a very, very talented footballer as well. Wolves' name was thrown into the mix yesterday. Number of Premier League clubs interested in him. There were reports yesterday that Wolves had bid around 25 million euros for Rios, which has been rejected, but it has been followed up today by Ben Jacobs at saying, although Wolves appreciate him, they think he's a fantastic player, it's very unlikely this summer that they'll get a deal over the line with the Brazilian club wanting probably close to 35 million euros for the midfielder this summer. Roma seem to be quite firm favourites at the moment, but Nottingham Forest in the picture as well. They've had a bid rejected recently. Probably if Morgan Gibbs-White does move on, he may well go to Forest, but a very, very good player there. The Wolves, of course, looking at, but again, he plays a central midfield. I think as long as Andre and João Gomez stick around, I still think we need bodies in that area, but probably not £35 million worth, especially when there's other areas of the pitch right now that I think Wolves do need to look at and consider. Hwang Hee-chan was linked to Blues yesterday, Birmingham City. There's been just constant whispers about this, and I think with the money they've got quite a big South Korean contingent at St Andrews at the moment. It was probably a deal long-term that was going to make sense for Birmingham City, especially with Hwang being out of favour at Wolves. Now, it has been reported over the weekend that Birmingham do have an active interest in Hwang Hee-chan. They have inquired with Wolves about it. I don't know if it's all Chinese whispers, this sort of thing, but it was apparently quite a reputable South Korean journalist that had reported on this. Birmingham Live have followed up on it today, though, and just think, although he's a player that the club like, again, just in terms of an overall package of transfer fee and wages, it's probably just too much of a stretch for Birmingham City. I have no doubt Wolves will probably be open to a sale. Obviously, last year they rejected bids of around 20 to 25 million from Marseille for Hwang. Wanted to stick with him because I think we have seen glimpses of quality and brilliance from Hwang Hee-chan over the years, but it's just too inconsistent. We've not seen it enough. So I would be open to a sale. But again, I think you're looking close to £15 million, I think. And in my opinion, Birmingham City just wouldn't accept that. I would be open to a loan deal, but it would have to have an obligation at the end of it. Someone maybe mentioned to me, what about a loan deal with an obligation if Birmingham get promoted? But you've got a situation where Birmingham don't get promoted and Hwang has a dreadful season in the Championship and his value just, completely plummets. So I think Wolves need some assurances that if Hwang were to go out on loan, there has to be a big chunk of money at the end of it for the club. Although there's no point. But it's a big year for Hwang's, World Cup coming up as well. He'll want to stay fit, play football. I think a loan would be okay, but I think in the position that we're in, we'll probably need a sale, to be honest, for Hwang Hee-chan. In terms of the goalkeeper situation as well, Sam Johnson again. He's in Portugal with the club at the moment on the training camp, but it's highly expected that he's going to move on. Burnley, the latest club to be interested in him over the weekend, according to Alan Nixon. James Trafford from Burnley looks like he may well be going to Newcastle United, so there will be a void there for Burnley and Scott Parker to fill, and Sam Johnson apparently that player at the moment. Jose Sarr as well had been linked with a move away. Galatasaray reportedly looking at Jose Sarr, although Wolves value Sarr at around £20 million, which I think is a lot more than what I would have expected. I think if Sarr were to go, I really would have expected probably 10 to 15 at the very, very top. So £20 million, I think you would snap somebody's arm off if somebody offered that to you. But I've mentioned it a couple of times, whether it's on podcasts or videos like this. I don't think... I think Sarr really kicked on the second half of the season, to be honest. Under Vitor, he looked a lot more comfortable. Not many mistakes in him. So I would, again... Although I think Wolves are looking maybe at bringing a younger goalkeeper in, I don't think it's a major rush to bring in a new number one, in my opinion anyway. And the final story as well, Wolves linked with Jessurun Raksaki, currently playing for Crystal Palace. He was out on loan at Sheffield United last season, got 9 goal contributions in the Championship. It's thought that Palace are probably going to want around £10 million for him. Again, young, early 20s, could play the winger, number 10 role. Probably not the quality that Wolves will want to push the team on. However, he is homegrown. I think if you can get a homegrown player for in around, especially a good attacking homegrown player for in around that £10 million mark, it's probably something you would consider. But again, I wouldn't hold my breath too much on this one at the moment. Rangers also interested in him, but probably just don't have the financial flexibility to be throwing £10 million at that player right now. So obviously, the positives are for Wolves that Jhon Arias now set to join, hopefully, and we get some more positive news with other areas hopefully being strengthened over the next week or so as well. As always, guys, be sure to smash the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm sure I'll catch you all very, very soon.